Hi everybody and good morning. Today's topic is respiration. However, I do need to clarify with you guys, if you are sitting for the 2023 exam, this topic number would be topic number 10, and this will be your learning objective. So it's 10.1.1, describe respiration as the chemical reactions in all living cells that release energy from glucose. Our second learning objective is 10.1.2, state the uses of energy in living organisms, including muscle contraction, protein synthesis, cell division, active transport, glucose, the passage of nerve impulses, and the maintenance of a constant body temperature. However, if you are sitting for the 2022 exam, this topic is topic 8. The learning objective is only slightly different, and you're going to see that here, but pretty much they do have similar content. It's just a little bit different. So if you're doing your Cornell notes and if you're sitting for the 2022 exam, then this is your learning objective. The first one is 8A, define respiration as the release of energy from food substances in all living cells. And your second one is to state the uses of energy in the human body: muscle contraction, protein synthesis, cell division, active transport, growth, the passage of nerve impulses, and the maintenance of constant body temperature. So if you can see, actually both of the learning objectives are pretty similar. They're just numbered differently and a little bit different in terms of the sentence structure. However, both of the step to success for today is the same. So what are the steps to success? Firstly is to define respiration, and secondly to state the uses of energy that is released from respiration. So let's try to answer our first learning objective. And just so you know, I put the learning objective of the new syllabus on the bottom here, because just in case if I am going to pretty much show this same video for your juniors or my future students who are going to sit for the new syllabus, I would definitely prefer to just put it down here. But you really need to make sure that your learning objective is what is supposed to be your learning objective. So if you're sitting for the 2023 exam, this is your learning objective. And from the previous slides, you can find the 2022 exam objective here. So it'll be 8A for this first slide right here, which is what is respiration. Okay, now that all the explanation is over, let's finally get into our learning objective, right? So what is respiration? Respiration, how you define it. So if you are asked in an exam, this is how you define it. You really need to make sure you have all these key terms as well. Respiration is the release of energy from food substances, for example, glucose. And this occurs in all living things. And the smallest unit of a living thing is a cell. And I want to make sure that you guys realize the fact that when we're talking about respiration, we don't use the word produce energy, but we use the word release energy. It is very important to use the term release, and it's very important to make sure that you do mention glucose is the main food substance that we get our energy from. So once again, respiration's definition is the release of energy from food substances, for example, glucose, in all living things. And where does respiration actually take place? So respiration takes place in these organelles right here. Do you guys recognize them? It starts with the letter M. This is your mitochondria. So mitochondria refers to many mitochondrion, so just to clarify that as well. And how do we draw this? So we draw like a sausage shape and the sauce in the middle. So that is how we draw the mitochondria. It is pretty rare for you to be asked to draw this in O levels, but I just wanted to show this to you guys just in case. And these are actually real microscope photos of the mitochondria, and you can see that this is a bit more 3D compared to this one right here. And just to simplify, we kind of draw it like this. All right, so one thing you need to know about respiration is the fact that glucose is the key molecule we're talking about that helps us to release energy. So glucose is the key molecule used in respiration to release energy, and it is made by plants in photosynthesis. So we actually covered plant nutrition for the non-express students, and we're going to cover plant nutrition in the future, but you have learned about photosynthesis in year 8 already. And the equation for photosynthesis is carbon dioxide plus water. So this means that plants use carbon dioxide and they combine it with water. And what they do is that they use energy from the sun that is trapped by the chlorophyll that is found in the chloroplast, and they make glucose. And they release oxygen gas as a byproduct. So you can see over here that plants are the ones that make glucose, and we humans, we consume this glucose to help us release energy via the process respiration. Although lots of different molecules are absorbed after digestion, so you don't just absorb glucose, you do absorb other smaller molecules like amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol, all the vitamins and minerals. If you guys remember that in topic 5, we do absorb a lot of those things. However, glucose is especially important because there are 2 organs in our body that only use glucose as fuel. So when we mention the word fuel, I'm sure in your head you're going to think about fuel as in the gas station, that fueling a car, for example, or burning, something like that. And it is pretty much similar. Fuel, in a way that we're looking at here, is that it releases energy for us, and glucose is the molecule that does that for us. And here, this right here is a picture of the structural formula of glucose, and if you guys can see over here, it is shaped in that, is that a hexagon? I think it is a hexagon. So normally you are going to pretty much see this kind of shape, and if you see this hexagon shape, and that actually just refers to glucose molecules. If these hexagon shapes have kind of like a line between joining them up together, then that means that it is bonded together. However, if they are separated and hexagon pictures like this, and that's just one glucose molecule. All right, so the reason being that glucose is very, very important is because the 2 organs which use glucose as fuel is your brain and your heart. They can only use glucose to release energy, so that is why glucose is an important molecule for respiration. All right, and what is that energy from respiration used for? Then we're going to talk about that one by one. Firstly, muscle contraction to bring about movement and locomotion. So this means that once our body cells carry out respiration and releases that energy is used to help our muscles contract. Contraction means that the muscle cells become shorter. So if you see over here, this one here is a muscle fiber, and if you guys can see that bit right there, that's referring to the muscle cells, and they are contracting. It means that, so this relax, contract, they shorten, and this really helps us to move. For example, moving our bones, and that is what we mean by locomotion. Over here you have your biceps at the top and your triceps at the bottom, and if you guys can see here, when the biceps are shorter in length, that is contracting, and then you have relaxing, going back to their original position. And when it contracts, it actually pulls the bone over here up, and that is and what we need to help us move is energy. All right. So second use of energy released from respiration is protein synthesis. Synthesis, this word synthesis, it means to build something, to make something, and create something. So protein synthesis overall, it means it's the process of creating large protein molecules from amino acids. So remember that we absorb amino acids after we digest the protein, and then that amino acid that has been absorbed is going to also be used in our cells to make other protein molecules, for example, your enzymes. And so this GIF right here is just showing you the fact that you need energy to put amino acid molecules together and make them bonded together to form a macromolecule again. And other protein molecules that you make, if you guys remember hemoglobin, that's protein, and pigments of your skin is made out of protein as well. Enzymes are protein, catalysts, so all of those things, our body cells would make them, and they make them by having this part right here. If you guys see that greenish, like the big one, that green thing, that is called a ribosome. In the new syllabus, we needed to actually define, not really define, but talk about the function of the ribosome. And one of the function of the ribosome is for protein synthesis. So if you can see over here, it actually helps to put the amino acids together to make a long polypeptide chain. In the end, it's going to become protein once it's fully processed. All right, so the third use of energy released from respiration is cell division. Cell division is basically the process of making new body cells, and this requires energy as well. This GIF right here shows you that. So I'm just gonna, that's 2 cells right there, isn't it? So let's try to wait until it goes from the beginning, when it is just actually 1 cell. So literally cell division just means cell dividing, and when they divide, they actually make the same exact copy of themselves. See, 1 cell, and then it starts to divide right here. So this is the part where they're going to split real soon after here. See them splitting up into 2 different cells, and that is what we call cell division. We're going to look into this in detail in future topics. Right, the 4th use of energy is active transport. So this is a GIF from the Amoeba Sisters, and active transport, if you remember, it is the movement of substances from a region of lower concentration to a region of higher concentration against a concentration gradient, and using energy released by respiration. So because we are moving substances from a region of low concentration to high concentration, that is going against a concentration gradient, therefore we do need energy, and that energy is released from respiration. Another use of energy released from respiration is growth. And that is why when you are much younger, you do need a lot of energy and food, much more high calories, I guess, in a way, food, so that you guys can grow into a beautiful cat. Okay, no, you don't grow into a beautiful cat, but you do grow into a beautiful human being that you are now. That's why, you guys, don't forget to have your meals 3 times a day. And take care of yourself so that you guys can grow beautifully as you are now. All right, the 6th use of energy released from respiration is passage of nerve impulses. So nerve impulses is basically an electrical signal, and it travels along a nerve fiber. So our nerves are part of our body system, and it helps to deliver messages, actually. And to deliver messages, it comes in the form of nerve impulse, so it's an electrical signal. And to have this signal being passed on. This right here, this really weird looking cell right here, is your nerve cell. And to pass on the message, you do need energy. And that's one of the uses of the energy that is released from respiration. Okay, lastly is maintenance of constant body temperature. So if you guys realize when it's very, very cold, automatically you all would shiver. Your body moves on its own. And when your body is moving, actually, so when the muscle is contracting, that releases actually heat, and that heat would actually try to travel up your body to make sure that your body temperature is not going to drop below normal. So normal body temperature really depends on the person. If you guys, I'm sure you have realized now that I think most of your body temperature, if you guys get your temperature check, is about 36.5 like that degrees Celsius. And yeah, your body, we are warm-blooded, and we need to maintain the body temperature so that our enzymes will work at its optimum temperature. And so when the temperature drops and becomes colder, we need our enzymes to work at optimum temperature, so our body's going to start moving on its own, shivering, so that the heat is going to be produced, and it will then be transferred to all parts of our body. And that is why we also need energy, and how we can maintain our constant body temperature with the help of energy released by respiration. And that is the end for today. So let's try to recall our step to success. So the first one is to define respiration. How do we define respiration? We have to say respiration is the release of energy from food, substances, for example, glucose, in all living things. Secondly is to state the uses of energy released from respiration. First one is muscle contraction, and then we have protein synthesis, cell division, active transport, growth, passage of nerve impulses, and maintenance of body temperature. That pretty much sums it up for today. I hope you guys have a good day, and stay safe, everybody.